feel insulted? Because I feel insulted. I feel insulted by the fact that there are politicians in the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, telling me that Bitcoin is bad for me, but they've got a salary that's $400,000 a year, but a $67 million net worth. And all they've done their entire lives is politics. I feel insulted by that. I feel insulted by the fact that I get told by the biggest institutions in the world that Bitcoin is a risky, dangerous thing. But now they open up ETFs. I get insulted by all of this. I feel like they are insulting my intelligence. But of course, we have come to accept this. Why? Because this is how the world works. Until now. Until now, the fact that we have Bitcoin means that we can actually front run all of this. It cannot be organized. You can have an ETF and still buy Bitcoin on the other side of the world without anyone telling you yes or no. And this is the first time that it can actually be front ran. And now you got another signal for this front running, and that is Google. Google has come out and it's changed its advertising policies. All of a sudden, how can you even imagine that Google would suddenly quietly change its crypto advertising policies on its platform this close conveniently? Oh, we just happened to change it. We just happened to change it. Go back to being stupid. Go back to watching your TikToks. Go back to watching Instagram and ignore us. Ignore us, little old Google. All we're doing is updating our terms and conditions to allow traded funds and trusts to be marketed on our platform. So up until now, it's been completely impossible to advertise a publicly traded, exchange-traded fund through Google platforms, so through YouTube, through everything else. Now, all of a sudden, December 12th, and now all of a sudden, less than a month before when the ETFs are due to be approved, we can now suddenly advertise Bitcoin trusts and crypto trusts on the Google platform. This just happened a couple of days ago. This is all insulting, right? A lot of people think this is news. This is actually insulting. This is the game being rigged against all of us. The people who have a chance finally to step up before all the land deals are done, before all the mining deals are done, because that's when we normally get the asset. We normally get to buy property once the land has been divided up, once the ownership has been given, and once the builders have claimed their rights and built their properties. That's when we get to buy. We missed that initial run up. We get to buy gold when after the mine has been allocated, after the rights have been sold, after the main profit has been made, and the institutional rent seekers are in place. That's when we normally get to buy gold, when it's a brick on the other side. Bitcoin is the first time that you can actually front run it if you're smart enough, because you can actually buy it before anyone else can control it. And in essence, nobody else can control it. And that's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin. But this sort of bullshit, like, oh, suddenly we can now advertise. What this does is it basically gives you another clue of what's coming. The fact that you can now advertise on Google a Bitcoin investment trust or a crypto investment trust is telling you that the insiders are turning the wheels and are moving things around, etc., to get things ready for when this thing launches. And you can know that the marketing campaigns are going to be heavy. I'm sure I'm going to be approached to advertise an ETF on this platform. And hey, here's the truth of it. I'd much rather advertise an exchange-traded, a U.S. exchange-traded fund than any other happy hippie crypto companies or anything like that. I would much rather advertise an institutionally sponsored ETF. But the fact that they are now changing the rules, and up till now it was impossible, and now they're changing the rules. This is also unfair for somebody like Grayscale, right? You think this is happening because Grayscale's coming in here? No, this is happening because you got BlackRock, Fidelity, all these other guys that are in place now. This is not happening because we're getting an ETF. Where it's happening because BlackRock's there. This is a part of the rollout plan that I've been trying to tell you. Things are going to change. I'm telling you, I've been saying this for months. You are going to see a major news publication talk about the environmental benefits of Bitcoin soon. And I've been saying that literally, if you go back to my tweets, the week that BlackRock applied for the ETF, I said that there will be a positive article around the environmental effects of Bitcoin in a major news publication coming soon. And I put a timeline of 6 to 9 months from that date. And that's coming, right? That's absolutely coming because this is the rollout plan. It's easy to see this once you understand how something gets rolled out. I need people to understand that it is environmentally friendly. I need to push it in front of people. So what do? I go and get the Washington Post to do an article, but in order for the Washington Post to have a credible article, I've got to get all these other small publications to have their articles. So we've seen all these small publications come out with their articles and KPMG and all this other stuff. Now it would be acceptable if the New York Times said, hey, we were wrong about Bitcoin mining. We think that it's actually now, the new data reveals that it's now environmentally friendly, et cetera, et cetera. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is, hey, Google, we need to use your platform to push our ETF in front of everyone. Okay, cool. Activate. This is all bullshit, right? This is all normal institutional BS that Bitcoin's not about. And the beautiful thing about it is, regardless of them doing whatever they want to do, you can actually acquire the Bitcoin. You can actually acquire the Bitcoin ahead of all of this. Now, the truth is that some people are going to just need it to be obvious. Some people are just going to need it to be obvious. What do I mean by it? I mean Bitcoin. They just need Bitcoin to be obvious. They just need Larry Fink to say, yes, do it. They just need Warren Buffett to say, yes, I like Bitcoin. They just need it to be so obvious that it becomes a no-brainer. And this is why I want you to subscribe to this channel and help me spank the YouTube algorithm to getting more people to hear the message before the institutions are basically controlling your brain. That's what's happened with every other asset, right? People weren't looking at real estate as an asset until it was securitized. And now everyone thinks about real estate. You think that just happened by accident? Or do you think the message of, like the American dream, buy a property, this, that, and the other, everyone deserves a home, blah, blah, blah. You think that was all just sort of happened? Or do you think it was orchestrated? Because I think it was orchestrated. So this is about to happen, right? The orchestra right now is coming on stage. I don't know if you guys have ever been to an orchestra before, but it's absolutely beautiful. But at the beginning, this is the beginning stage. The orchestra is now walking on stage, and the day of the approval is where they all start playing. That's what's happening here. But the question is are you going to get ahead of this by getting to your one Bitcoin? So remember what I'm saying. Google is now allowing people to promote trusts, Bitcoin trusts, right? It's not like Coinbase can advertise on there. It's not like any other people can advertise on there selling their actual Bitcoin. But you can advertise trusts, because that's exchange traded. That's in the United States of America. Oh my God, a whole bunch of bullshit. I feel completely insulted by this. As you can tell, I'm taking it very badly. But the main point here is you finally have an opportunity to front run retail buying, inflow from newly printed money, inflow from stocks, inflow from bonds, inflow from gold, inflow from corporate treasuries, inflow from all these places. You finally have an opportunity to actually front run this. And people are sitting here going, hey, maybe I'll just wait until the ETF comes out. This is stupid, right? All of this the Bitcoin marketing orchestra is now coming into place. You're going to get Google ads. You're going to get your advisor calling you. You're going to get New York Times talking about how great it is for the environment. You don't think that this is all being set up for a rapid rise in price to create FOMO, to get more clients into their fund, etc., etc., all while we have a reduction in Bitcoin available to purchase on the exchanges, all while we're walking into a halving where the supply is going to get cut in half. You don't think this is a setup? Because this is a setup. This is a rollout. This is a marketing rollout, and Google is just another piece of the puzzle. I'm not surprised by Google's announcement, by Google's changes. This is just normal. I was expecting this right from day one when I told you the marketing plan is going to come into place, and of course they're going to use every single ounce of pull that they have in order to do it. So be prepared to see a Bitcoin ETF advertised on your YouTube channel, on your when you're scrolling the internet. You're going to see advertisements for Bitcoin ETFs. The question is, are you actually going to front run those advertisements, or are you going to sit there and wait for the advertisements to come out and then try and chase the hardest, most secure asset humanity has ever created? This is your one chance. It's not like property where you can just, learn about land here and then go to another country and then buy some land and start the whole process again. No. Bitcoin is everywhere and nowhere at the exact same time, and there is only 21 million of them. So the question is, are you going to get to your one Bitcoin, or are you just going to continue to waste time while the Bitcoin marketing orchestra comes into play, and then it's too late for you because on day one, there is a spike like we've never seen before. People are not taking serious the scarcity of this asset and what that means for the ETF when it comes out, and what that means for the price. The fact that right now people still think you have to buy one whole Bitcoin, right? The fact when the ETF comes out, you'll just be able to buy shares. I talked about this on an earlier video about the idea of unit bias going away. So much is going away that has been holding people back from Bitcoin because of the ETF, but those people need it to be obvious. Do you need it to be obvious? Or can you take advantage of it before? That's the only question here. But despite Google, despite BlackRock, despite whatever's coming with the New York Times or Washington Post or whoever else, there are still only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, you shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.